we are super on time, and I'm starting before the hour because I want to use this space, squeeze this lemon out to the last drop. Thank you, Clinton, for coming in and enriching our possibility coaching training journey. It's the 8th session, and yeah, we are on the bumpy, very creative and liquid journey, and it's amazing.
Yes,
Yes,
the best kind of journey that I know.
yeah, me too. And I'm pleased to hand over the space holding to you because you're invited to host this, and so I'm giving you.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being there. I imagine that you've talked about it quite a bit, Christina, and all of you, to consider what is possibility coaching in terms of the entire domain of coaching that's available in the world and has been since probably the 1960s or 70s. Coaching started to become a thing. And then, but so have you talked about this a lot? I mean, have you guys investigated that?
Like we were not investigating the other types of coaching.
No,
No.
that's not what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean is, go ahead.
So yeah, we are diving into like what is the distinction between two-phase healing, three phases of healing? What are we applying, or from which space we are coming when we are holding space for possibility coaching? Like it's what forces are there supporting us going out of the way that the forces can do their work, like in these directions
Mhm.
where we're going, and dismantling the structures. What is actually blocking us from doing that?
Mhm. And do you practice in these sessions online here like this? So can we practice something?
Of course.
Well, good. I mean, I if I'm also totally open to the question and answer thing, but I would really like to kind of lay out a uh, an invitation to practice a particular skill. And that skill it has to do with splitting the attention, splitting your attention as a coach between what is happening in the client in the moment in a very small space of now and what is what could land in there that would make a difference. So part of possibility management, I think, is unique in that it does not have a stated or uh, asserted goal, does not have a particular outcome. For example, when I first started in possibility management back and expand the box training back in the 1998, I thought that possibility management was a tool for having a better life, for making people happy or bringing people into a better job or earning more money or something like that. Like to fit into modern culture better than they were current, in their lives. And then it took a while. It took 10 years for me to realize that that's not what possibility management is or what possibility coaching is. There's a completely unique orientation in possibility coaching, which has to do, in my mind, with uh, getting in alignment with Gaia, actually, and calling forth potentials that are designed into the human condition that are not even named by modern culture, that are not specified heretofore in psychology or philosophy or therapy or any other domain, because those tend to be built on the linear, the logical, the visible, the rational domains of modern culture, or going back as far as Greek thought, or Roman philosophers, or even Chinese philosophers. It's like from the East, like those have been built on each other. They've been built and connected to each other. And possibility management goes the other way. It faces a completely different direction in terms of what's possible. What is possible? And there are potentials that are designed into our free and natural ability to choose or ask or declare, or our abilities to notice, or abilities to create out of nothing and tap into archetypal resources, et cetera, that is not a therapeutic orientation. It's not about putting us back on a track where we once were, being kind of successful in modern culture, or trying to be successful or trying to be healthy in the definition of modern culture. That our orientation as a possibility coach has to do with a completely broader and open-ended domains of potentials that people can access in surprisingly effective ways and delightful ways. And so in terms of representing yourself to your client base, however you want to call them, your circle of people, the people who have gotten to the place where they want to try something besides just going to a psychologist, or taking mind-altering drugs, or they're ready to try something with some personal responsibility in it, and they end up coming to you. In terms of how do you represent what you're doing to people who are like on the edge, of they're realizing that modern culture has an edge, and that you offer them, what you offer them is bridges. You offer them acknowledgement that modern culture has an edge. They're not crazy. They're not going insane in discovering that modern culture is a fiction. It's a story. It's a made up kind of view of the world, and it has an edge. And beyond the edge, there's nothing. And when people discover the nothing, it's very scary, particularly because they have not learned how to feel fear and be okay with it. So they're afraid of their fear, discovering the edge of the modern culture. And this is happening more and more and more. It's like there's a curve. When I started back in the end of the 1990s, the curve was pretty flat. It's kind of like this. And then 10 years later, 20 years later, so we're like in 2015, something like that. We're starting to 2020, things starting to curve upwards in a way, in terms of more and more people are recognizing that the fiction that they've been living in, called their lives, the groundlessness of their going to school, trying to get a good job, trying to have a wife and kids and husband and car and dog, and and this whole orientation, like a village. Modern cities or villages are these vampire entities. A vampire entity trying to suck resources from around their neighboring area. So you're facing, your clients are terrified and shocked and need real support about something that other types of coaching are not fit to support them. So if you try to market what you're doing, if you try to invite ordinary people who are kind of doing well or something in modern culture to come to your kind of coaching, there's not a really good match. The match comes when when the people have hit something that's just ground, it's shocking. It's like real recognizing the reality that the world that they were born and raised in is causing the extermination of life on planet Earth in one way or another. To see this, I mean, like, for example, right now, politically in the United States of America, the current president is going senile, and the only offer that voters have to choose from is an imbecilic psychopath. And so, okay, do people notice this? Well, they're starting to notice on some level. They're starting to realize that something's really off about the entire offer that's on the menu. And so they will come to you to look for a different menu. And that's what you have to offer them, is a different menu to choose from, a completely different menu to choose from. And even for them to read the menu, they need to learn how to feel mad, sad, glad, and scared, for example, to understand what in order to even enter your conversation, they will need to know, well, they have a box and a being. And so these are these introductory talks that you have with your clients. But this splitting your attention that I was talking about, it's a skill that you really need to develop. And to develop that skill takes practice. But I was just talking to Devin Gleason today because he's practicing to be in to deliver his practice, expand the box training. And there's this quality of commitment, or quality of, adventure, or a quality of interest in life that comes from delivering your non-material value. Whereas, people would think, okay, I'm going to study to become a coach, and then I will have a profession called a coach, and I'll have a certificate on my wall that says I'm a coach, and I can look at that certificate and try to believe that I'm a coach. And then somebody comes in the office and you go, look at my certificate. See, you can see I'm a coach. So we're going to do coaching now. And then what do you do called coaching? Where you try to follow some kind of a system or model that you learned from your coach training. And what will really come of that? And so you're in a different position. You don't get a certificate. You don't get a method. What you get is a set of skills and kind of your own experience in the map of evolution, on the path of evolution. This is what you get. And what you get is a recognition of an ability to hit bottom and to stand on the edge and to visit the void, the emptiness that's after the edge, and to turn around and invite your client to stand there and tell you, how's it going? What's up for you? And they say, basically, that's what they're saying. They come to you and they go, and you go, it looks like you're feeling something. And then you go, what are feelings? You go, yeah, there's 4 feelings you could mix them together and have this emotional Haferflockenschleim, but you can take that apart. And so you're talking to them in a completely different language, but it's so satisfying for them, because you might be the first person in their life to speak in a way that they've never heard before, but makes more sense than anything else, because it matches their experience. You're speaking about their experience of the bottom falling out of their world, and you're calm about it. You're excited, you're glad about it. And they go, well, I'm trying to, have a job, or I'm a single mom with a kid, and every time my son goes over and visits the father, he comes back more of a patriarch. And I'm trying to raise him as a, human being, but every time he goes to dad, he comes back and he hates me more. He wants to, I'm more of a slave, and the moms come in and they telling you stuff like this, and you go, this is true. You have an accurate perception of current reality. This is what's really going on. And they're going, what? No, you're supposed to fix this, they say. And you go, well, here's the deal. It's actually like that. It really is going on like that. What do you want to do about it? And then you start empowering them to face the reality that they've created for themselves in a way that they have more agency. Agency is this word. It's like power, but it's more like agency is about being able to create results. It's kind of like a secret agent. You take a secret agent, you throw them into impossible circumstances, and their job is to create useful results. Well, that's your job. You're an agent, but your job is to create agency in your clients. And you're creating agency in a domain that is real and not perceived or not named by ordinary coaching. You're empowering your client to have agency, and they're internavigating, they're relating with other people, relating with possibility. You're empowering them to have agency in domains that modern culture is incapable of empowering them. And so we just published a book by Valerie Lankford, who's this woman who was mixing her feelings together back in the 1960s and was incompetent to handle ordinary life. And they put her into an institution called the Context. That's not right. Cathexis Institute. It's Cathexis Institute with Jackie Schiff was the space holder for that. She and her husband. And then Jackie Schiff said to Valerie Lankford, "Listen, you're a mess. You're a mess. You are mixing everything together." And Valerie goes, "Yeah, well, that's why I'm here." But Jackie Schiff said, "Learn to think while you're feeling." And this was a challenge for Valerie, and she took it 100%. And she ended up creating this Mad, Sad, Glad, and Scared 4 feelings map out of that. And in a short time, people don't realize this, but she was an incompetent, incapable mess thrown into a mental hospital in America. And in a short time after discovering the 4 feelings map, she was out in the world providing therapeutic value to hundreds of other people in her own private practice, and also part of the International Transactional Analysis Association. So she was professionally recognized and competent all of a sudden because she upgraded the thoughtware in a thought map, one thought map, basically. So we've got this book together and published it, and I encourage you to get it and read it because it's we also have 7 articles from her, additional articles that she goes into different other facets of the 4 feelings that are just really empowering. And this is a tool for supporting the matrix building experience of your clients when they first start coming to you. And it's like it gives it really a context and a credibility because what I did with it is put a forward and an afterword in the book that explains how the entire work of possibility management with regards to a lot of things comes out of this one 4 feelings thought map. And not only that, this thought map is really the basis of archaearchy. It's the basis of the emergence of regenerative human cultures on Earth. Because if you don't have the 5-body experience, if you don't know how to internally navigate your 4 feelings, you will be stuck in the logic and the intellectual domains like the university and politics and this kind of thing that modern culture has. You will be stuck there. There's no way to get out of it. And so I'm really happy that we got the book out and it's available as a tool for you guys to use for your bridge building for people. So this thing about just splitting your attention, putting it in 2 ways, it has to do with connecting with yourself, centered, grounded, bubbled, present, and in 5-body contact, not necessarily physical touch, but in the same physical space, like with, or even online, but with the person, and you have this 5-body connection. And then you split your attention. And what you're scanning for is their matrix, what they're aware of, what they can be aware of that they're aware of. So how can they hold what you're saying? How can they hold the way you relate to them? So you can speak to them in a way that matches into their worldview, or their ability to understand. And then at the same time, you split your attention over to what's wanted and needed, what's possible for them. Today was in a process, holding space for a process for Anne-Chloe Destremo. And it's such a, I know you know this experience, but it's such a luxury to sit down with a person and say, what can I do for you? And they know how to internavigate their four feelings. And in less than 1 minute, she was down on the mattress on the floor and able to navigate high intensity feelings to go through like a past life process. And it's yet, when that happens, probably you've had this experience, but there's this one part of that process we did, which is she was in I'm just going to tell you this. I think she's fine with it. She was in this, the kind of the usual thing, like laying on a dirt floor in a stone-walled building. She's starving to death. It's cold. That people have locked her in this dungeon because of whatever. And what happens is that she's able to recognize that it's a spell. It's a kind of an illusion that it's this dungeon. And in fact, what she's in her actual workspace. So the workspace turns out to be this golden, like yellow color, like this golden energy workspace in a circle of chairs. And it's like, okay, how did the awareness of that shift, how did that come? Because your perception is it's a dungeon. Your perception is there's a bad guy in black, a priest or whatever, trapped her, throws her in the dungeon, tries to figure out what she knows, or anyway, and leaves her there to die. But what is really going on is it's just a spell. And all of a sudden it turns into this circle of chairs, these 8 chairs. And she's then able to meet with the people that she would usually meet with again. They were meeting without her because she was locked in this spell. And now she can come in and be in the circle. So they have a meeting right there. They have their usual meeting there. And it's an incredible, connection and love and support, and something that she's been missing all this time because she's been alone. And now she has this connection. And so they're finished with the meeting and they go home, and she did not want to leave the room. So she's in this chamber, and she walks to the window and looks out, and she can see these green hills and these pine forests. And then she's looking at the chair, and I ask her, well, which chair is yours? She goes, well, it was the one I was sitting in. Okay, will you go back to the chair and see if you left a message for yourself under the chair, under the taped to the bottom of the chair? She goes back there, and there's this box, a little white box that has a leather strap, was holding this message for herself under her chair. And she pulls it out and opens it up, and there's this like photograph with a message on it that she had written to herself before. And it was like, you will find your way back here. You will always find your way back here. This is the message in the box that she wrote to herself. Okay, so where does this stuff come from? And what I'm trying to tell you is that it comes from the nonlinear possibility space, when you can split your attention and not just get hooked into what the person is saying, what their problem is, like what they're feeling, all that. And also at the same time, open up to this, what's the potential? What is the next potential for that? And bring those two together, And this is kind of one of the magical parts of being a possibility coach, is you get to do that for people. And as you do that more and more for more and more people, stuff starts happening to you. And I think you probably know what I'm talking about. As you start looking at the world in a different way, you don't look at the world in a way of like this is what's going on and that's all that's possible. You don't look at it like that anymore. You look at it like this is what's going on and there's a lot of other things possible. Let's make some proposals. Let's make some distinctions. Let's offer some thought or upgrades. Let's navigate a process. And that can be for individuals and for groups. And so the world starts looking differently to you as you proceed in your skill building for possibility coaching. I was thinking right about there would be a good time to open up for any questions, for example. And it does not have to relate to what I was saying. Any questions you have do not have to relate to what I was saying.
I have a
So is
question.
the Sydney, I need to hear you better. And my volume is pretty much up. So how's you?
Well, how about now?
Better. Go ahead.
Well, okay. So what you were just speaking about around not getting hooked, splitting the attention to what they're saying, what they're thinking, feeling, and saying, as well as having this attention on the potential, the nonlinearity, like what else could possibly be there. And I resonate with this because I do find myself getting really hooked in just like the now thing, like what they're saying, what's happening. And I've really noticed that specifically watching your calls, coaching calls, like just how nonlinear it is and just like happening and where things are going. And my question is just like, what can I practice to have to embody that and to bring that into the spaces that I'm holding?
Well, can you try to tell me right now how you get yourself hooked? What's the glue that you use?
The first thing that came to my mind is doing it right, and doing it right, and just like, and this desire for the client to receive.
You know, I'll tell you a secret, okay? I don't give a shit what the client gets. Because if I did, they would own me. If I did, I would be, like you said, hooked into their world to the degree that I don't have freedom of movement to provide what's possible in that space. You're feeling something right now. What is that, Sydney?
What am I feeling?
Now you're thinking.
Yeah,
Before you were feeling.
I wasn't aware that I wasn't aware of what I was feeling. I think I was feeling joy. I think I was feeling joy hearing your answer.
Don't think so. But when you look at the tape after this, take a look and then you can answer for us what you were feeling.
Okay.
So yeah, so how are you welding? It's like a welding. You know what a welding is? Use a torch or this arc welder and you weld yourself into a world where your client is. And you think that that's how you're connecting to the client. And so you can be with them or, you know, understand what their circumstances are or connect in with them. And what you're doing is you're killing the space. You're putting a big anchor on the space and dragging it down into ordinary world. And that just simply ends the connection to possibility because there's no gap. So I was asking you, how do you described pretty well how you how you like stick yourself into the world of the client. And this is, you know, here I am being with you. We're gonna solve your problem. We're gonna work on your emotions or whatever you're gonna. And what you've done is you've closed the gap, so that you have no gap between you and your client. And because you're trying to do it right, trying to do it so they have the best outcome. And what happens is you're eliminating the domain of magic and possibility by like becoming an abalone. You know what an abalone is? Like one of these, it's a shellfish that lives in the ocean and sticks on rocks, just like you're like stuck on. And then when they move, you move. So then you think, well, I can communicate with them, or I can sense what they're feeling that way. But you don't have the other part of the equation. You don't have the split of your attention. You have no freedom of movement over there. And so the skill for you to start to work on is to make this gap and to detect what's going on for a person with the gap there. So they can move and you can still sense what's going on for them without losing your opportunity to move in a different direction. And so that would probably be a useful emotional healing process, is to trying to do it right, do it the right way. That would be a really useful process for yourself. And then to make a gap is another approach. I think one of my favorite things these days is Fear Club. How many of you guys have been in Fear Club? Okay, great. How many of you are delivering Fear Club? Anybody delivering Fear Club? Christina, good. Okay, next time Christina delivers Fear Club, you guys go there as an apprentice so you can start delivering your own Fear Club. Because what happens is when you source Fear Club for people, it becomes more entertaining. Fear becomes a substance of value to a possibilitator. Fear becomes a usable medium of it to work in as a possibilitator, as a possibility coach, because you need fear to make the gap between you and your client. So even when you shake their hand, they come in you might shake their hand. You can still have your bubble between your hand and their hand. So you're not bonding in. You're not, you can feel their hand, but your bubble is still in between. And so there's this gap. You keep the gap the whole time, and that gives you this opportunity of being able to have freedom of movement, so you're connected to opportunity and possibility and not just sucked into their world. Is this useful? Is this what you're
Very.
What are you going to do about it?
The first thing that's in my mind is, I already said, I'm going to re-watch this and take really good notes of everything that you said. And I'm going to do the EHP about being right, or being right, showing up, doing it right. And I'm going to
and the other EHP is engaging the fear of having a gap. Like, I don't know, how many of you had the experience when you were growing up of feeling alone or feeling excluded or feeling not included? Anybody have that? So, okay, this is what I thought. If you look around, everybody's hand is up. Okay. See, this is a valuable thing to notice about yourself. It's a valuable thing to notice, is that you did not fit in. You were not accepted. You were not included. You were rejected. You were left behind. You were not seen. Nobody could even see you or talk to you because you have one foot in this other world. When you brought it with you. You brought it with you. And that thing is your gift. It's your gift. And yet we've experienced it as a pain. Like, it's like, gosh, look at all those people. They fit in, they're part of the family, they belong, they're included. And, okay, what about me? Well, what you have is your particular knack, your gift is having access to to the gap. You have this access to the gap where you're not welded in, you're not hypnotized. You did not become a zombie. You didn't automatically, go unconscious and become part of the machine. You're not a zombie in the economic machine. It didn't work for you. And so that's what you can, this gap has fear associated with it. So it's so great to do Fear Club, deliver Fear Club, starting like making fear your friend, so that there's no place that you fit in. There's no place that you fit. But everywhere you go, you cannot be hypnotized. You cannot blend in. Why? Because if you can blend in, you're sleeping. If you're blending in, you're just being used by somebody else in somebody else's game world. So you go in having your own purpose, your own perspective, your own possibilities, and you're, of course, looking for colleagues or other people who have this capacity to have a gap. But there aren't so many. There are not so many people out there who enjoy having a gap. They want to have the right fashions. They want to fit in. But this 9 people right here, these are your friends. These are the people who love having gaps. And so for you to increase your ability to thrive in this gap is a skill to develop. And it's not one that most people understand. But these guys, this team here, your possibility coaching team, understands starting to understand the value of having this gap, of not fitting in. And then this becomes part of the value that you can offer to your clients, is it's okay for them to want something that other people don't want, or to see things that other people don't see, or to feel things that other people don't feel, et cetera, et cetera. And you're holding space for them to become themselves that way. Because if they're trying to, I don't know if you ever had an iron-on decal for a shirt, but you take this plastic thing and you put it on the shirt and you put a hot iron over it and you go like this, then you peel the paper off and the plastic thing is melted into the shirt. Did you ever see that? Have you ever know what I'm talking about? This iron-on stuff? Okay. You are resistant to being ironed on. Get this? They cannot iron you on. They tried. They were going to threaten you with punishment, or they were going to threaten you with bad grades, or you will not have a good job, or whatever they threatened you with. They will try to iron you on to the system or to the culture, and you just are resistant to being ironed on. It's like, hey, it just doesn't work on me. I'm not even a little bit interested to be ironed on like everybody else. So this is your gift for holding this space. And what I'm trying to say is keep practicing it, because that gap between where your client is and where you are, you need to keep the gap so you have this freedom of movement to tap into the resources, the nonlinear possibilities. And that will develop over time. But the more that you start radically relying on those resources, the nonlinear possibility resources, you have one foot, within your client's world with this gap, and you have your other foot out here in this nonlinear possibility world, and you walk through life that way. It is not something that you just turn on in a coaching session. You actually walk through life with this gap and these 2 perceptions, these 2 awarenesses of what's going on here and what's possible here. And the problem with that is it's not just scary. It's not just scary, it's also painful. Painful meaning 2 things occupying the same place at the same time. 2 things trying to occupy the same space at the same time, is painful, because you are the thing that both things are occupying. The 2 things happen inside of you. So it's this ongoing catalytic, transformational, evolutionary reaction going on inside of you, because you're splitting your attention. You're holding you're this gap, and you're holding both of those things at the same place at the same time. At first, it's painful because you don't get to accept what is as it is here and now in the moment. You don't get to do that, because then you would be like a Buddhist or a meditator, or something like that. You would just go, I accept what is. I am one with everything. Make me one with everything. That's where you would be if you could do that. But what you're saying is, I am not one with everything, because one with everything is an illusion because look, there's all this other stuff that could be happening right now. So you're not one with everything, and you're in a gap. You're in the gap between what looks like it is but what else could be possible. Something completely different from this is possible right now. And you walk through the world like that something completely different from this is possible right now. And it's painful because what if what's happening right now is really good? What if it's like the best thing in the world? Like I was in Bali and we had these mangoes in Bali. They were just this like stringless, fat, juicy, cold, sweet mango things, And I'm like one with what is. I'm one with these mangoes, except I'm not in Bali anymore. I'm in Brazil, and the Brazilian mangoes where we are, it's not mango season, but they have this kind of tight, stringy, hard, this completely wrong kind of mango. So all I'm saying is
Wrong.
being one with, it's being one with everything, being one with the thing, when you know that something else is completely different from this is possible right now, it means that the best stuff in the world is going to vanish. The most intimate, lovely, wonderful connection, this beautiful space, this like amazing, this possibility, this intimate, all this stuff, it's not really there. It's there, but something else completely different from that is possible right now. And so you walk around as this paradox, this paradoxical possibility generator. You're like this transformer of having, this power to, connect or be with what is, like the thing, and this power to transform it. And now who chooses? How do you choose what to call into the space? When part of that is what I was saying, is like you're going to match onto the person, you can see what can they hold, what will be useful, which door can they go through? How close are they to the door that they can go through? If you open a door in New York City, they can't go through that door. It might be the coolest door in the world, but even if the door is 2 meters away from them, they cannot go through it. You need to open a door exactly within reach, within one step from where they are, and that can be stable, that they can go through the door and hold it, and actually make it and hold what they discover through the door. But you also need the door. You need to have this access to a bunch of doors and then choose one or three. I usually make 3 offers before I say this conversation is over. I'll open one door. If they don't go through, I open another door. If they don't go through, I say, I'm about to open the 3rd door. If you don't go through this door, this conversation is over. Then I open the 3rd door and either they go through or they don't. But if they do not go through the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd door, we stop the door thing. We just go back to basic practices, mad, sad, glad, and scared. What are you feeling right now? What percentage big is it? Are you mixing it together with something else? Going to basic matrix building skills. And you need to do that with your people in the beginning. So just a hint, don't open more than 3 doors for people, or you're trying to rescue somebody. You could keep opening more than 3 doors. How's that for an answer, Sydney?
Wonderful.
I don't give a shit what happened to Sydney.
You blowed her away.
Well, for my next trick, nothing up my sleeve. Okay. Who else has a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Hi, Alice.
Glyn,
Go ahead.
yeah, Glyn, to what you just mentioned
Alice,
about, yeah.
Can you hold on? I have a question, and I'm not sure, maybe you too, what Clinton just said. Do you?
About rolling up my sleeve for my next trick?
No, about opening 3 doors.
No.
Okay.
No, I have another question, but go ahead, Catherine.
Okay.
Thank you.
What was
Yes.
Catherine, what's your question about it?
So you name it after the 2nd door. I'm up to opening, because I had really this situation this morning with a guy at the beach, and I saw he is on the edge. He is also someone who is not in this ironing pattern, but
Mhm.
he was sticked in the victim role.
Yeah.
And I opened the door, yeah, maybe you need a team, maybe this is that. And I had the impression, okay, yep,
All right. So look, did he pay you?
no.
Okay, end of story. You were not in a safe place for him. He was not in a safe enough place to have any kind of liquid state. You just met him on the beach and you're in a conversation. Yeah, it's not a safe place to have a coaching session. You know, the kind of conversation, what?
It was not a
You- the co-
coaching. Mhm.
No, but you were a possibility conversation. You were having these possibilities for him. Well, he was not paying you for possibilities.
Mm.
So it's the wrong space and the wrong time, the wrong offer to try to make a difference for somebody on the beach. You know, so the kind of conversation to have with somebody on the beach is, gosh, I'm so interested in a different culture. And you have a conversation about something over there, something else like archaeology or something I've heard about, a game world or like this. So you were trying to have a conversation with them about them, and that will instantly put them into a liquid state. And they don't know you. They don't know what a liquid state is. They don't know what mad, sad, glad, or scared is. They don't know anything. And they will never want to talk to you again, ever, because you're too dangerous. You're too scary. So that's and it was basically your gremlin having a conversation with them. Because you know something that they don't know. Here's a man who's on the beach, who looks like a great guy, but you know something that he doesn't know. And you just basically pulled the rug out from under his feet, and he was going to fall into this, oh my God, here's a woman who's going to tell me something I don't know. This conversation is not going to work. So your gremlin was probably doing a superior, revengeful, something little thing like that on the man in terms of having that kind of conversation at the beach. That kind of conversation is a paid, coaching session when they're ready, and you start at the basics. You need the basics first. You need I have a box, I'm not my box. I have a gremlin, mad, sad, glad, scared, all this stuff, numbness bar, all the basic stuff. If you don't have the basics down, nothing you offer will stay. It's not stable. Does that help?
Yes, and I want to know more about how to have conversations on a beach.
Okay. Great. That's an
Thank you.
excellent topic, and it's really an important one. It's about building your circle.
Yes.
And it's about making offers, invitations, but it's that kind of offers, I'm reading this great book from Valerie Langford called Four Feelings. God, I'm amazed about this book, but look where you're putting your attention. You're not putting your attention on the guy. You're putting your attention over here on the book and what that is over there, this thing over there. I'm going to go to a movie. I'm going to go to a workshop. I'm taking this class. I'm studying, your attention's over there. And so then they don't have to protect themselves. They don't have to protect themselves. You're talking about something over there and they could be interested over there. And then you can go together like that. There's a lot more to that, but that's a great thing to investigate. So how to have conversations with people on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
We are back to Alice.
Yes. And my question goes around like what to call in the space. And when I watched some of the recordings of the possibility management coaching sessions, I noticed that you or also and Chloe would like make bold statements. And what I mean by that is when I hold space, I notice I feel fear, like to really make an assumption, for example, to really like the client would describe a situation and I would really name it and would really say, okay, so what happened to you was emotional abuse. And yeah, to really name what I see, although the client wouldn't have said it. And I don't complete it, but I say something completely different, but what is there. And yeah, I noticed that I feel fear to do this. And I also notice how when I receive it, how healing it is for me. So I want to deliver it to my clients And my question is, how can I practice this?
Well, what is the
Till-
fear actually? What is the fear actually?
Yeah, I feel fear that my assumption is not accurate, and then that I destroy the space.
Okay, so there's a difference between making an assumption and reporting what you notice. There's a big difference between making an assumption. So an assumption is there's a leap in an assumption. You know, there's some evidence, and then you can jump to a story. An assumption is like a conclusion, and it's like you're adding something in. You're adding like a solution or the source of the problem or what really happened. Like you're adding something in a assumption. Whereas when you report, the report can be coming to you in 5 bodies. It doesn't have to come through logic or reason or an evidence even right in front of you. So your proposal, like your offer to them is you can frame it up like a different way. You can frame it up like, is there any chance that? Could it be that? What if it's so that? I mean, what is it possible that this happened? And so you don't have to make it like, so this happened to you. You don't have to make it like a statement. You can change.
Yes.
There's a tool. I learned it from Jim Zarvos, who was one of my trainers way back in the 90s. And the tool is called Confront with Questions. Confront with questions instead of with a statement. And so when you report, Alice, when you say like, okay, it looks to me like this happened, and you go, okay, this happened to you, that's a statement, but it's a very confrontational statement. You know, the person is being confronted by your statement, and then their defense strategies, their old stories, their cognitive dissonance, you know that term? Like their cognitive dissonance is part of their protection system. It's like something really happened, but they see it a different way. And it's a difference between what happened and what they think happened. And so they have this story about what they think happened. You go, no, this happened. You were abused. And then then their whole world is attacked. And what you will get back is their defense strategy. But if you move the attention over there and go, I had a friend and this happened to them, like this happened and this happened. Is there anything like that happened to you or anything like that? Oh yeah, it happened to your friend. Oh yeah, it happened to me too. You know, but then you're over there talking about that guy, you know, and then there's not an attack. It's called Confront with Questions. And you're making an offer. You're making a proposal. Could it have been like that? That's a question. Was there any chance this happened? There's sometimes, for example, when it's, to me, a person has this huge fear of this dark thing or this shock, and it's from a long time ago. And to me, it's just obvious that it is a childhood nightmare. And they woke up in the middle of the nightmare and there was nobody there to say that was a nightmare. And so what they have is this in their whole system, their body, they're afraid of the dark places. They're afraid under the tables. They're afraid like of whatever. They just have this huge dark black thing. And then I go, okay. And I don't say that was a dream. I don't ever say that. I go, gosh, that happened to me once. That I was, could it be that there was a nightmare? You know, like I used to have this thing where as a child in the bed, if I let my arm over the side of the bed, something from under my bed was going to grab my arm and just eat it, just pull off my arm. So I could never sleep close to the edge of the bed. And I noticed last month or something, I was actually on purpose hanging my arm over the bed to see if the thing was still there. And it was not there. I was really glad about it. But those things can come in our nervous system and stay in there as if they're reality. But if you confront and go, oh, that's just a dream, it's not going to help people. But if you tell this story, this guy I know, he had these dreams like that. Do you think could that be anything like that for you? Is there anything like that? They go, yeah. like that, so that you're talking over there.
Yeah.
Was there a second part to your question, Alice? Was there another part? Did you say something else?
No.
Okay.
No. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I want to add something there because I realized that my something clicked on when when you said this, Clinton. There's a guy. It's actually inventing a story. It does not even need to be true. But I noticed that when I started doing this, that I wanted to that it's accurate. I cannot lie, I cannot make it up, and then I'm not a good coach because I needed like it would needed to have this person in real happening to me that I would use it as a real story. And so it was just a reminder, like if you come across this, that you notice, oh, I'm starting to lie, that would be the next layer of a healing process. Like I had that. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm faking. But actually you're just taking the information and weave it in from a different angle. You play soccer. No, what is it? Billiard. How do you say? Like billiard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're doing a bank shot.
Back shot.
Yeah, you're off the sidewall and then it goes over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's about repackaging. It's about, here's one package. Does that package work? No, you take the package off, put the same thing in a new package. Yeah, that works. It's like this. It's like you repackage the thing. And there's this question, like you said, well, is it lying? Okay, well, tell me something that's not lying. Because words are lies. Words are fictions. They're just this noise sound that we approximate in our brain to mean something, but it's not the thing. The word is not the thing. So we're fabricating approximate word sounds as a bridge for somebody to try to get a sense of something we're trying to say. And so if I make a better bridge, am I lying? Is a better bridge a lie? Well, it's all lies. I mean, and then we're talking, as soon as you say that, you enter the domain of radical responsibility, because you are responsible for any story you make up. You're responsible for however you package a thing. And if you let it dead and dry and lifeless and go, here's your future, and the person goes, you're responsible for killing a future that could have been amazing for them if you just added some frosting on it, or said you have a possibility of facilitating evolution. You can give up your life and disappoint your father and come alive in a new world. That's just frosting. But you have to leave your dad die in his old world. You can't help him. You cannot help him because he's stuck in his world. So you get that it's like either you're going to be with your dad and die with your dad, or you're going to have your life. So it depends on how you package it. Cool, thank you.
I have a question. I have 2 clients, and both are far away from feeling rage, about 10%. And do you have a hint, a question or something what you bring up to make somebody in any way feeling rage?
Yeah, I would not approach it that way. Everybody, people in modern culture, civilized people, are using the old thought map of feelings. The old thought map of feelings, which says anger is bad. It's dangerous, it's loud, it's uncivilized, it's not nice. It's only bad people are angry. Every time you're angry, an angel loses her wings. Whatever. all this stuff going around. So you're up against one of the biggest thoughtware upgrades that a person can make, you know. So I would look at that person and say, how's your life working for you? Well, I go, it's not working very well. I go do expand the box training and come back, and then we'll do a session. Do a 3 or 5 day expand the box training. They will be a new person, and you can have some anger with them. In 3 days, you know, or 5 days, the next week, they will be a new person. That's one of the best things to do, is just send your client to expand the box training. Go, look, you want some change in your life? You do expand the box training, come back, and then we'll work. Right now, you're just wasting your time and your money. You know, and the other thing is Rage Club. And Rage Club is really great. And you can actually do Rage Club exercises in sessions, but you know, you bring in a watermelon, and you get 2 watermelons, one for you and one for your client. You're going to say, we're going to do watermelon rage today. And they go, you know, what's that? We're going to rage on, or we're going to eat the watermelon with rage, with your bare hands. You have to go outside, put on your bathing suit, you know, and just, you take this watermelon, you go, you know, and you just start, and you take big, and you do it with them. So this is watermelon rage. There's some great videos that Anne Chloe and some people made about different kinds of rage that you can have. You can have bread dough making rage, and salad making rage, and there's house cleaning rage, and there's so many different kinds of rage that you can have. And the telephone book destruction rage. I mean, there's so many things. So that's another possibility, is actually do Rage Club exercises in your sessions. Were you going to say something, Sarah? Something else?
Yes, I had with both a Rage Club intro and told them go to Freiburg, because it's not far from here, Freiburg. And both did not go there. And one client, I'm up to say, if you don't go to Rage Club, I will have no more sessions with you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't work with people under most conditions. I have really specific conditions under which I'll work with people. And it's, you know, they hate me for a while, you know, and then a year later or 6 months later, they write this letter and go, God, it changed my life. You know, your boundary changed my life. It woke me up. You know, so it's useful to just do that. Just send people away. Go, look, you are not prepared enough to sit in my chair. It's a waste of my time. Yeah, I'm a agent of transformation, and you are a brick wall. And you know what if I blow you up, you would hate me. So don't come here. Go do something, you know, go back to your parents' house, you know, go back to your job, you know, take more aspirin, you know, just give them those answers. Panadol. Some people like Panadol. I like aspirin. Anyway, there's a story about, I don't know if I'll get this right. Irina Tweedy. You guys know who Irina Tweedy is? She was the lineage holder for a Sufi tradition. She wrote a book called Daughter of Fire. It's on the reading list. And there's a side story. It's not in the book, but one of her students was sitting with her in her office, and he's starting to tell her, I have this headache, you know, I'm trying to do these attention exercises and trying to be responsible and breathe the right way and not be hooked and keep my center and notice all this thing and notice this thing and hold into the context of the teaching, make the teaching available in my head. I'm just falling apart. And Irina Tweedy, the teacher, she opens up her purse and pulls out a Quaalude. So I don't know if you know what a Quaalude is. It's like this maximum painkiller kind of Panadol type pill. It's a pill for suppressing pain. She gives it to him, says, take this. And he's going, what? This is a spiritual school. I mean, these are spiritual practices. I'm supposed to be, you know, evolving. And she goes, you know, every now and then you just have to take a Quaalude. And that was her answer. So it's really almost the same, and I assume most of you didn't get the joke. But anyway, that it's not a joke. It's actually a story, but it's like, lighten up. I mean, there are, it's wild stuff that you guys are offering. You're really offering amazing opportunities for people, like truly life-saving, transformational possibilities for people. And it's so fast and so effective and so efficient compared to anything else that's out there. And when you start to see that and can take a stand for that, and when somebody comes and sits in your office, you go, your life's going to change. If we go through this process, if you can navigate your feelings, you're going to walk out a new person in, an hour and a half or 2 hours. You're going to walk out of here. A new person costs you 150 euros, whatever. And you're going to be a new person and come back. We'll do it again next week. And it doesn't take so many times, and people are on their track for delivering their non-material value, and you will never see them again, or they'll only invite you to their birthday party or something like that, because this is not like a kind of therapy that you're supposed to come over and over and over again. If you see somebody more than 3 or 4 times, something's wrong. If you've got clients that are coming back for more than 3, 4, 5 times, you're doing something besides possibility management. Volker.
Yes.
Was that a fly on the screen? No. Or were you going to say something?
Yes. And now I feel fear to say something, and then it's gone. I just want to write it down. You said,
okay.
First you said that we didn't understand the joke. So in this, I feel also my fear, because I understand what you meant as a joke, and I am also in this position that I sometimes don't know what I can get out of a session. This is one thing, and the other thing is, I also thought so. These will change my life very fast, and now I am in 1 year almost full time going into what's happening, what's possible, and I find myself going deeper and deeper, and there's more and more, and I think somehow, how can I deliver this in 5 sessions? Or I got so many sessions, and I'm still like feeling I need 100 more before I feel I can deliver something.
You should do a session about that.
I did some already, yes.
You guys are not getting the joke.
Exactly.
Come on. No, dude. No, I feel like I have to do a whole lot of things before I can deliver something. You've got some perfection thing going on. Something about perfection. Yes? Okay. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Yes.
You obviously did not study physics, because, I have a bag here, a little plastic bag, and it's filled with apricot seeds, because the kernels inside of apricot seeds, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to bend this camera down like this. I can see this. These are all apricot seeds. See that? They come from apricots. So that they're really, but if you look at this seed here, and you look at this seed here, they're very different from each other. Can you see that?
Yes.
They're really different from each other. But these are apricots, and they were perfect apricots. But they're not perfect, because actually every single apricot seed is different. Every single seed is different. So if you understand that the concept of perfection is a fucking neurotic, evil gremlin thoughtware, why are you using it? Who decides what thoughtware you use? Volker. Who decides what thoughtware you use?
Myself.
What?
I do that.
You do.
Yes.
Okay. So don't use that thought word anymore.
Hmm.
Really, the whole perfection thing, I have to get it right. I have to give them everything. I have to be the best. I have to be qualified. I have to, this is all insane. It's all completely insane. So just flush it down the toilet. I have a toilet. I just throw things in the toilet, like that kind of stuff. Life is too short for shit like that. Like, you're a smart guy. I've seen the photographs that you take. You know how to perceive things. So you can make this distinction between useful thoughtware and crap thoughtware, and put the crap thoughtware down the toilet. If you don't do it, it won't happen. You've got just little vampire thoughtwares all over you. Did you ever have a tick? And Zika?
Yeah.
What did you do with it?
Take
What
it
did you
out.
do with it? What?
Take it out.
Yeah. And if you did not take it out, what would happen?
Yeah. Shit. Inflammation, and it gets
Yeah.
thicker and thicker, and
Yes. Yeah. So the same thing with thoughtware. It's just exactly the same. You leave it there and it just gets thicker and thicker. It's inflamed, and your whole life is about trying to be perfect. Really, it's just, you can do that. Go ahead, but your life will be a victim of a tick, Zika. You will just be a Zika food, Zika essen. What do you call it? Fressen, fress,
Futter.
Futter, Zika-Futter.
Zeckerfutter.
Yeah. You can put that on your wall, a
Zeckerfutter.
certificate. Ich bin Zeckerfutter. And if you want to be Zeckerfutter, come here. I will teach you how to do it. You can have baby Zika from my little one, because it got so fat it made babies. I can give you some. Here's one for you. Ew. I'm serious.
okay.
What?
Understood.
What? What did you say?
You cannot hear me. You cannot hear me, no? What is, my microphone is not as good. I understood, I said.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see.
Yes,
We'll see.
we will see. I'm still in the second footer situation.
Yeah, all right. Hope you have a good time. Look, you could deliver something before Saturday, before Sunday. You could deliver something before Saturday or Sunday. See, look at, even Sydney knows. She can tell you could do that. And it would be valuable. Somebody sits in your chair and you go, did you know that there is a difference between thoughts and feelings? They go, no. Did you know that there are 4 feelings? And this will change their lives. That's all you have to do. Will you do it?
Yes.
Thank you. Let us know who the client is, okay?
All right.
Type it in the group. And it can't be your mother. Not your mother. Okay.
No, it can't be my mother. She's dead.
Okay. You'd be surprised how many dead mothers bother people. Like Sandra's mother's
Yes.
dead and bothering her. Is that true?
My
Sandra?
mother is dead? No.
Is she?
No.
Oh, okay. Right. What is true? Sandra, what is true? You didn't say anything yet.
I don't know what's true is. Sometimes I don't know it. Yeah.
Yay. So, but what's your question?
And the space.
Look, there's a website called Your Quest. I know it's in English, but it's still, a website called yourquest.mystrikingly.com. Quest, Quest. And quest is the first part of the word question. And so it's talking about how to use questions to take you on a quest, how to use a question to take you on the journey. And it's about holding a question inside of you, because an unanswered question has a charge on it, positive or negative. It has this charge on it, an unanswered question. And most of the time, the mind is going, I want to have answered questions. All my questions should be answered, because then my mind can relax. But the point of using questions to take you on a quest is to have unanswered questions. This means you're living with a question inside of you, and it turns out to be like a rocket fuel. It turns out to be like a magnet. Like it draws you towards things. If you're holding this question inside of you that's not answered, it will bring you into different spaces. You will meet people by coincidence. You'll pick up a book and open it and go, oh my God, this is amazing. You'll go see a film. You'll sit down at a cafe and somebody will spill coffee on you, and it'll be, your next partner. All this stuff will happen when you have an unanswered question in you that you are consciously holding in you as a force, to move you. And so everywhere I go, I have questions. I live inside of questions. I mean, right now I'm working on a book that's a novel, and I never wrote a novel before, but I've always wanted a novel to exist about possibility management, people using possibility management in their daily lives for things to happen. And nobody ever wrote one. So I'm writing one. It's already 361 pages already, and it's not done yet. But I know where I am in the story. It's a quest. I have this thing burning in me. Now, I wake up and Chloe looks at me and goes, "Where are you now?" And so where I am is right now I'm in Montenegro. Montenegro, it's a country. I didn't even know it existed. I heard of it, but now I know where it is. It's between, I used to know, it's between Greece, whatever, and
Serbia.
Russia.
Serbia?
Serbia.
No, that
No?
other one.
Croatia.
Yes. Yes.
Croatia. Okay.
Yeah, and Croatia is really weird because Croatia has this section, and then there's this other Serbia or something like that, and then it starts Croatia again. So there's a little island of Croatia, but it's right, and that's connected to Montenegro. And so I'm in Montenegro right now. It turns out it's got casinos, and all these gambling places, and it's like I don't want to be here. How are we? And our meeting is in the story. These people are meeting with the town council. They're going into the town council and they say, we'd like to ask you questions about your successful village because you've been around for 2,500 years. This town has been around for Budva. The town is called Budva. It's right on the coast for 2,500 years. And these young people go in and they say, we'd like to interview you about your successful village. Please show us your energy descent plan. So an energy descent plan is how is the village handling the end of fossil fuels? Because fossil fuels are running out. The gas from Russia, the oil from Arabia, it's running out. What is your energy descent plan? And their answer is, we don't have one. And then the young people, their answer is, well, maybe you'd like to look at ours then. And so this whole approach to the village of how to open up this conversation about, becoming resilient, relocalizing their authority and becoming resilient is happening in Montenegro. And so this is a quest inside of me. And these young people are hiking to Munich because they're going to take over a refugee camp and change it into a nano nation. Anyway, this is part of this story. And so I have this quest inside of me and it moves me. So I'm learning all this stuff, meeting people, talking to people. So, Sandra, you look like a woman with no quest.
Yes, sometimes that's it.
I'm talking about now. The only time I'm interested in is now.
Yeah.
What is it like to not have a quest?
I feel sadness now, but I don't.
I think, can you do me a favor? Will you shut your eyes for a second? Just shut your eyes. Go ahead. Yeah. And I would like you to click your clicker and go back to a time when you had a quest. Could be a long time ago. Yeah, then. Click your clicker. Good. How old were you then? How old are you when you had this quest?
I don't know, 2 or yeah.
Yes.
Comes up.
You were 2 or 3 years old when you
Yeah.
had this quest, right? Okay. Can you tell us what the quest was that you were holding in you when you were 2 or 3 years old? What was it about? You don't have to understand it because you're only 2 or 3. Just tell us what the quest is, what it feels like.
What is coming up, but it don't make any sense, is what is life?
That's fine.
Or what is life?
Yes. Yes, that quest. Say more about it. It's beautiful. Keep going. What is life? Keep going. Just let the words come out, Sandra. What is life? Keep going. What else?
Yeah, how does it happen? What makes it interesting? What is
Yes.
what is it that is begeisternd? Yeah.
Yeah, enthusiastic, inspiring.
Yeah.
Okay, keep your eyes closed. Something happened and you put the quest somewhere. Where did you put the quest? Where did you hide it?
In my stomach.
I didn't hear that.
In my stomach. Or, yeah.
Oh,
My
really?
belly.
Inside of you? You hid it inside of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. At the moment, I feel that my stomach is there's rage in it, and yeah, it's I feel tension there. Yeah, that's that I recognize.
Okay, but if I ask you the question, where did you hide your quest? What would be your answer? You're 2 or 3 years old, something's happening, you have to put your quest away for a while. Where did you put it?
I'm not understanding what the quest is. Yeah,
The vision.
the vision.
It's a drive. It's a motivation.
Yeah.
It's like your inspiration. It's glowing. It glows.
Okay. Yeah. And
Where
do
did
I-
you put that? So that others can't see it, so that other people can't see it, because you're not allowed to have a quest. You're not allowed to have it. Where did you put it?
I don't know.
Well, okay, the first thing you said was your stomach. Do you have stomach problems sometimes? Do you have pain or upset stomach sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes it's blown, aufgeblasen. Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be that you did. It could be that you just put it behind your stomach or something. So let's go with this. So keep your eyes closed. Here's the possibility. You could have your quest back.
Yeah.
Do you want that?
Yes.
Okay, it is not far from where it belongs. It belongs in your solar plexus. It belongs at your center, like your solar plexus, not at your center so much, it's above. It's like this fireball in the middle of your chest, your third chakra. So it's not far from there. It's just down behind. Okay, so you've been carrying it with you the whole time. So reach your hands, your energetic hands inside. Actually move your hands and reach back behind your stomach. You might have to go behind your back. Reach back inside your body, behind your stomach. Yeah, that. Let the feelings come up. Let those feelings come. It's still alive, Sandra. It's still alive. Your quest is still alive. Let yourself feel this. What color is it?
White.
It's
Yeah.
white?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Can you feel it's pulsing? It's kind of pulsing. It's radiating and pulsing. So slowly pull it forward. Pull it out in front of you. Just slowly bring it out and hold it with 2 hands. Yes. Hold it with 2 hands. Hold it there. What does it look like? Okay, you're in your head too much. You have it in your hands. You have it in your hands. It's vibrating. It's white. It's pulsating. This is your quest. It has no words right now. What is it? What is its message? What is the message?
The message is aliveness. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you can give to other people. This is what you can bring for other people. That's why people come to you. They're looking for your aliveness, and you had it behind your stomach the whole time. You had it in the wrong place. You hid it there all this time. Since you were 2 or 3 years old, you kept it there. You have a chance now to put it right where it belongs.
So
Put it in.
the solar plexus.
Yes. This is where you're, yeah, to just slide it right in there and and hold your hand there.
It makes me fear, with it, or fear comes up.
Yes. Yeah, your old life is over. Your old life is, your dead life is over. Can you say that? My dead life is over.
My dead life is over.
How is that for you?
That there's a bit quietness or Beruhigung. Yeah. So.
Okay. All right. Well, tonight when you go to bed, put your 2 hands on your solar plexus and sort of rock your quest. Say, hello, quest. I've got you back. You get that? Tonight when you're going to sleep, so
Yeah.
put your hands there and just like talk to your quest and go, welcome home. Welcome home. There's so many people who want to come back alive. I'm sorry that you had to hide out this long. Thank you for waiting for me. You say that kind of stuff. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, I will do it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Clinton.
Yeah, you're welcome. We have just a few minutes left. Does anybody have anything or want to say something?
I had another question which came up when I was reading the website, and it was about the brain split, because there were some different passages where it was written, and for me it was not clear what it is. Is it a process, or is it something what happened during abuse, and how to work with it?
Scott, will you turn your mic on?
Yes.
What would you say to Volker?
About his question.
Mhm.
Volker, will you repeat your question?
I have a proposal since we have just a short time. Scott, where are you living? Where are you?
Austin, Texas.
Okay. Cool. You're part of the Austin team. Cool. Nice to meet you. So I have a proposal, and that is that, Scott, you read through the process of doing brain splits and then get online with Volker and run him through the process.
Yes, I'm aware of his so I will do that, but also in the manual and online, there's information that we're still looking for more information. We were talking about this in our Telegram thread, and he
Yeah.
had mentioned he was going to ask you on the call today. And so he has a specific question, I think, and I just was not understanding his question in that moment.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
There's
but I will look into it. Yes, and
Good.
I think there's still something more that we're looking for.
There's the other website called PM Processes. And if you look at PM Processes and look up the brain splits, it could be I don't know, but it could be a more clear write-up for the process on the PM Processes website.
Thank you.
Check that out. Yeah, and let me know if you have a question, just shoot me a Telegram message, all right?
Yes.
I'm very interested in this process for myself, and on the other hand, there were different. So in this section in the handbook, in the section about the processes, it is not mentioned, this brain split, but in the tools and processes, there's a little passage. There it is mentioned, and in about abuse, there is it mentioned with a website, but there's no content on the website, and it's more about suing brain splits. There was a word suing the brain split. So I just wanted to also know, is it a process or is it something what happened during abuse and I sue my brain split?
Yeah, people's brains split in order to accept abuse.
Yes.
In order to accept abuse happened to them, they put a split in the brain because it should not have happened. It should not have happened. And then it is a crack in reality. And the only way we can not commit suicide, the way we can live with it, is to put a split in our brain. And then our feelings are locked in there, emotions are locked in there, and we go around disconnected from really reality because of the brain split, because we accepted abuse and we survived. So it's a survival mechanism. So the healing for that is to do this surgery, the self-surgery called sewing up your brain splits. And when you're doing the surgery, it's an energetic self-surgery that what happens is the emotions come back. And as you're putting the brain back together, and sewing it up the right way, it's coming back together in a nice line when you're sewing it, the emotions come up. And they're huge, huge emotions that we've been suppressing the whole time to allow ourselves to have been abused. And then after the surgery, when you've sewed it up, then the emotions are gone and the abuse is gone. And you get your brain back and you get reality back. And some people have a few brain splits. Some people have 100 brain splits. Some are big, some are small, some are inside from the bottom. And it's just really valuable to do that process a few times because you cannot do them all at once. I think it's time to hand the space back to Christina Derschner. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, we are over time.
Thank you, Clinton.
Yeah,
Welcome.
Thank you, Clinton, for this fontaine of inspiration, clarity, possibility. I made some cool maps, so I was
great.
drawing a lot and making notes. I hope all of you did the same thing, and it sparked questions in you. And I'm looking forward to the next to the next session where we are focusing on processes. And that's why a reminder: go through the handbook and make a post. What did you do? what are you interested, what do you want to learn, so we can co-create out of the necessity.
Yeah, I just want to say possibility coaching is one of the best things that you could do in your life, in my opinion. It's wild, it's challenging, it's so useful for people. You discover so much, it's evolutionary. It's just, there's no end to what you can discover. So I'm really happy that you guys are on this path and have a great time. So stay in touch and
Thank you.
see you. You're welcome.
Thank you,
you.
Clinton.
Bye.
Welcome.
Bye,
Bye.
team.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Clinton.
Welcome.